Don't be shy and back. Go ahead and grab a seat. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, honored guests, community partners, and co-conspirators in the pursuit of digital equity. Woo! My name is Patrick Messick. I help to lead Oakland Undivided, an equity-based collective impact digital equity initiative, along with Carolina, who you met at check-in, and Cynthia and Georgia, who you'll meet in just a moment. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment. Please join me to recognize that we're situated on the unceded traditional homelands of the people of the Ohlone tribe, the original stewards of this land and valued members of our community. Yeah. We're also so grateful to Executive Director Wells, Oakland Housing Authority leadership and staff, and Palo Vista for welcoming us to this vibrant community today. Can we please put our hands together for Oakland Housing Authority? A few housekeeping notes to begin. We have interpretation services available in Cantonese, Vietnamese, and Spanish. So if you would prefer translation, please check in at the check-in table. Secondly, we are gonna do our best. Even Mother Nature couldn't contest that we're bringing the heat today. So please make sure that you're doing what you need to take care of yourself. We have fans in your swag bag. All right. And we have water and snacks in the back. Restrooms are located behind this door and to the right. And in the event of emergency, please use the two side exits. Trash and recycling is in that corner. We have an incredible program today. We'll be hearing from equity-minded policy and changemakers from Oakland and the state about 4 transformative projects. If you haven't already, please make sure to look through the program to learn more. With such a jam-packed program, a gentle reminder to those of us on stage, we are here for a good time, but not a long time. So let's keep it moving. I will try to model this brevity by providing some context as to why we are here today. What started as an emergency response to a global pandemic, a Herculean effort to get tens of thousands of students online, has grown into a citywide movement to advance digital equity, not only as an educational access issue, but as an economic, health, civic, and moral imperative for all Oaklanders. Our journey together is still young, yet our progress is significant for 2 reasons. First, we have a clear-eyed understanding of the unsolved problem as experienced by our community. 2, we are working in partnership towards a common cause. First, we've worked with our community to define the problem. The digital divide in Oakland is pervasive. An annual Tech Check survey, a home digital needs assessment of over 30,000 public school students, revealed that 1 in 4 lack access to reliable high-speed internet. Even for those who have a connection, especially those who live in neighborhoods deemed less valuable by those seeking to maximize short-term profit, challenge persists. First, the cost of internet. According to the State Digital Equity Plan and Oakland's community surveys, the single greatest barrier to connectivity is the unaffordable rates of internet service. The monthly average bill in California is nearly $90, with some customers, some here in this room, paying as much as $130 a month for internet fast enough to connect their families. These rates are amongst the highest in the country. Second, quality of service. Too many rely on networks that haven't been upgraded or properly maintained for decades. They are so oversubscribed that the up to speeds consumers are paying for are little more than broken promises. Importantly, these quality service issues are not universal. Results from nearly 500,000 speed tests at 15,000 locations across our great city revealed that internet connections in our highest income zip codes, with the largest population of white residents, were nearly 10 times faster than in our lowest income communities with the city's largest population of people of color. Our problem clearly defined, now is the time for partnership and collaboration. No problem is too deeply entrenched, no inequity too great to prevent the town from bending the arc towards justice if we work together. And that's what brings us to this room today. Let's learn more about who's here, believers of what could be, unburdened by what has been. Please join me in welcoming to the podium our Deputy Director, Georgia Savage, and Director of Community Impact, Cynthia Diaz.
Hi, everyone. Can y'all hear me okay? Yes. All right. Before we officially start our program, we want to acknowledge everyone who has made this celebration possible. We hope you feel the impact that your contributions have had on making this celebration a possibility and bringing us together to bridge the digital divide in Oakland. When we call out your organization or affiliation, we ask that you please stand up and everyone give them a round of applause.
Wonderful, thanks, Cynthia. So we are going to start with the organization that made this possible. Oakland Housing Authority, please stand up. Wonderful, thank you so much. We're gonna keep it going with folks from the city, our city partners. That includes city employees, as well as Oakland Public Libraries, Oakland Unified School District, and all city partners.
Next, we want to acknowledge our community-based organizations and community advocates. Tech Exchange, Hack the Hood if you're here, Homies Empowerment, Unity Council, please stand up. And also our two community advocates, Jahara and Dawood Stevenson, who show up whenever we need our community's voice.
Great, next we're going to transition to our state partners. That's the California Public Utilities Commission, that's state officials, that's the California Department of Technology. Please stand.
Next, our foundation, philanthropy, and fiscal sponsors, those who make this work possible through their contributions. If we have anyone here from PG&E, Gilead, Amazon, the Oakland Public Ed Fund, please stand up.
Great, and last but certainly not least, our elected officials and those representing elected officials, Councilmember Gallo, we have Congresswoman Lee's office here, Assemblymember Bonta, and of course the mayor as well.
Thank you all. A huge round of applause for everybody who made it today. We know it's a hot day, and we really thank everyone for making the effort to be here and celebrate with us. Next, it is my pleasure to introduce Ulises Zadaran, the Executive Director of Tech Exchange, a trailblazer in the digital equity space. They've been here since 1995, serving our community in Oakland, and will be here for generations to come. So please, everybody, welcome Ulises.
All right. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes. Hi, my name is Ulises Zadaran. I'm the Executive Director for Tech Exchange, and it really is a pleasure and an immense joy to be here standing alongside so many dedicated partners to building digital equity. and also to kick off October, which is Digital Inclusion Month. So it's really exciting to be doing that and marking such a huge achievement for Oakland and kicking off that as well. And also right smack dab in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month. So muy bien, gracias a todos por estar aquí. As we celebrate this milestone, I really want to reflect briefly on how far we've come. As it was mentioned, for nearly 3 decades, Tech Exchange has been working to ensure that every individual has access to the tools and technology they need to thrive. From providing refurbished devices to thousands of households to delivering digital literacy training and tech support, our mission has always been to end the digital divide. When the pandemic, thank you, of course, yes. When the pandemic struck, the digital divide became more visible than ever. And Tech Exchange responded, along with many of our partners here, by becoming a founding member of Oakland Undivided, bringing our expertise, community trust, and on-the-ground knowledge to build a comprehensive approach to digital equity. We scaled up our efforts during that time by providing device access, distributing thousands of computers to underserved families, broadband adoption, connecting families to affordable internet plans, and providing culturally responsive tech support and digital literacy, ensuring that every resident could navigate the digital world with confidence. Together, this coalition has met the needs of nearly 50,000 students and their families, helping them from cradle to career. Let's give it up for Oakland Undivided. Yes. All of this work is all about partnerships. Partnerships with anchor institutions have always been integral to the mission of Tech Exchange, and the Oakland Housing Authority has been one of those key anchor institutions as a longstanding partner and ally to bridge the digital divide. We are honored to continue this partnership and to work with OHA's amazing CEO, Patricia Wells. Thank you. As well as her entire leadership team and all of her staff that are here with us today. Let's give it up for them once again, indeed, yes, OHA. They themselves have been trailblazers at the forefront of making innovative change and building digital equity. And as Oakland's own Kamala Harris reminds us, right, we're not going back, right? You should say, right, hell no, we're not going back, right, yes. In fact, we're pushing forward. This Wi-Fi launch is a testament to that progress and a testament to the strong collective leadership of Oakland that is gathered here today. And I'm thrilled to keep the momentum going as we work together to build a digitally inclusive future for all of us. With that said, it's my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce the Executive Director of the Oakland Public Education Fund, Ali Medina, who will share more about this transformative initiative. Let's give it up for Ali.
I'm such a hugger, but it's so hot. I went to hug Kyla, and I'm like, I'm sorry I'm hugging you, but I never see you in person. So thank you, Ulysses. Tech Exchange is truly incredible. We're honored to have been a really big partner with Tech Exchange in the last 15 years, I guess. Wow, right? And especially in this work. And this project in particular is so important to me on a personal level. And I want to say this really quick. I'm going off script, but I will get right back on, Patrick, is that I became the ED of the Oakland Ed Fund like the week we went into lockdown. And shortly thereafter, maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, I got this call from David Silver saying, hey, we have this thing we want to do. And call me crazy or new, but I was like, sure. And 4 years later, here we are. It's called Oakland Undivided. It's still here. And it's been, it's so incredible. And I want to say it's really changed the Ed Fund from its core, really from its core. And it showed us as an organization just the power of what we could do with our community. And the group of people that formed the leadership and founding team of Oakland Undivided are truly some of my favorite people in the world, but also some of the hardest working people. I said, like, I am the executive director of the Ed Fund. That's one job. And then I was also working on OU, and that was a whole second job. And most of us were texting each other and at our computers, because it was COVID, till midnight. So, most days for many of those years to make all of this come to light. And I know it wasn't just us, it's so many of the people in this room, so many of the partners and folks who were with us that are no longer working with us, but are with us in our spirit. So thank you. The Ed Fund, we really focus on leading the development and investment of community resources in Oakland's public schools, and so that all of our kids can learn, grow, and thrive. And we know that the digital divide is a really huge part of our kids being able to learn, grow, and thrive, and be part of the 21st century economy that's coming up, that we are in, that we know is more. And so whatever we can do to do more for our kids is what we really focus on. And I want to say, too, that there's when I say that this has really changed the core of the Ed Fund, we have also really dove straight into, head first into doing a lot of work in programming around digital divide, including continuing to support the OUSD Tech Repair Internship, which is really like an apprenticeship program where kids are actually, repairing 1,000 computers a school year, and then many more, probably the same amount in the summer. And those kids are paid hourly salaries, and they deserve every single bit of it. And we want to see more of that, right? We want to see more kids earning the dollars that they should be earning in this tech economy. They should not be looking in the back door. They need to walk through the front door of every tech company, and we want to make sure that they're prepared for that. So thank you so much. I want to, again, just thank everybody that has had a piece of this work: community leaders, educators, community-based organizations, our civic institutions, public partners, and then, of course, our philanthropic investments. And we also especially really want to take a minute to highlight the signature partners in attendance today: Amazon, Gilead, and PG&E, for their ongoing support of student access and to digital equity. We can't do any of this without you. And I'm about to announce something more exciting than I can tell you, because of their support, your support, and all of our donors' support. I'm really thrilled to announce that the Oakland Public Education Fund is able to grant OUSD a $1 million student connectivity fund. This was a big hope, but we don't always know if it's going to work out, and it's here. And thank you, Patrick. Thank you, David. Thank you, OUSD. And thank you to the OU team, the small and mighty OU team. This connectivity fund will really enable OUSD to continue their commitment to ensuring access to computer, internet, and culturally responsive tech support for all students in need for the 5th consecutive year. We do not want to hear that a high school student is doing their homework on their phone, okay? It's been happening for years, and this is the end of that. I think we've committed ourselves, and we know that this is the right thing to do. So with that, it's my honor to introduce the superintendent of Oakland Unified School District, East Oakland's very own Dr. Kyla Johnson-Trammell.
Good afternoon, everybody. Such a pleasure to be here. I want to take you back in order to celebrate this moment. So in 2020, well, first I just want to say there are kind of 3 things I hope that we keep in mind. One is never to waste a good crisis. 2, the importance of having village leadership. And 3, how to leverage the success of village leadership into state and federal policy. So I think most of you know what we did in Oakland was actually observed and copied pretty much all across the country, because most school districts, city officials did not work in partnership and community to address the issue. And so actually across the country, so many kids weren't able to access learning during the time, and many places are still where they were pre-pandemic now. So for me, the beauty of this was, one, when I had principals and watching one of my student director at the time who was doing her homework on the phone, and many of my principals were like, okay, if we're shutting down school, how are we gonna do school? And just rattling off, one, the number of computers we had. We were not one-to-one as a district before the pandemic. and two, just the gap, right, between the schools. And so when I started asking my staff, okay, what are we gonna do about it? It was so obvious that the problem was so beyond what we could do as a school district. So, first person I called was David and Libby, and I was like, yo, this is the problem. How can we work together to do some massive fundraising? Because initially it was about we just need to actually get devices and we need to get internet. As we started hearing from our wonderful partners at Tech Exchange and so many of our community leaders, it was like, well, that's great, but what about building the capacity so people know how to use the tools? What about making sure it's in multiple languages? What about families who are living in units where it's just hard to have, you know, complete access? So the problem just became bigger and bigger and more complicated, and it became clear we needed the village actually to address the issue. And the more success we had, one being we went from 12% to 98% and now 100%, it became clear, okay, yeah, clap that up, because that was everybody in this room. It became clear if we solve this now and we don't figure out a way to agitate and make change to policy, it's another wasted moment. And so I want to give huge kudos to folks like Mia Bonta, who really helped us in terms of, okay, what can we do at the state? David and I at the time had conversations with our Department of Education at the federal level. And so that level of publicity to look at what we did, to look at how community and systems come together, which actually, if we can do that all the time, we can solve a multitude of issues. We can solve climate change. We can solve economic inequality. All of these things, we have created the blueprint. So while we celebrate today and everybody should, you know, dust their shoulders off a little bit, let's keep in mind this energy and how we did this for digital equity for all the other equity challenges that we can, because we actually can solve it. Thank you so much for all your support.
Wonderful. Thank you, Superintendent. So as the superintendent mentioned, the timeline of this work has obviously been since 2020. But I want to take a step back and acknowledge that Oakland's strength is really in its diversity and its collective action. This city is the birthplace of so many national and statewide movements, and the digital equity movement in this city is no different. When 2020 started, Oakland's response to the digital divide became a national model. The city worked in partnership with CBOs, with the school district, and with funders to ensure that all students were connected. And as I look at you all today, I see a continuation of that work, but also a commitment to be not only reactive, but also proactive, and ensure that we are addressing the root causes of the digital divide, and ensure that we are approaching this from a systemic level. We need to recognize that in order for our students to be fully connected, we need to ensure our communities are fully connected. And that really starts with connectivity at home. So I am so honored to be able to announce the leader of the home digital equity movement here in our city, which is none other than the incredible Oakland Housing Authority Executive Director, Patricia Wells.
Oh, my. You know, I have to tell you something my daddy taught me, and that is you always respect your elders. So while, yes, the Oakland Housing Authority is your host today, we're really in the home of many of the elders that we celebrate who call this community Palo Vista their home. So if our true hosts, our residents of Palo Vista, raise your hands, thank you for letting us join you today. Now, if you want to know why it's so warm, well, you know when you go to grandma's house, right? There's some good baking in the kitchen, and what we have successfully baked in this kitchen is the beginning of realizing the dream of digital equity. So it's warm because that's all the energy coming through the city to make sure that everybody's connected, y'all. And when I think back to who really inspired me we've heard the name David many times, but I have to give a shout out and make him stand up real quick to my first energizer who gave me a call probably at 10 o'clock at night and said, hey, Patricia, I got an idea. And that's our own David Silver. Thank you, sir. And when I went back to the phenomenal hardworking team of OAJ and said, hey, I have an idea, and they all gave me that look, one person became a leader of a small cohort of champions to make the Wi-Fi project happen. So please give a shout out for retired Chief of OHAPD, Carol Duplessis, and his team, Anna Kadanskaya, Dominica Henderson, Mark Schifferl. Just those are the champions. I just get to say, yeah, Lala, let's do this and sign the checks, right? I have an important role. So what does that look like? It looks like an investment shepherded and approved by our valiant board of 7 commissioners who are residents of this great city to fund a $2.5 million effort to bring free 10 gig digital Wi-Fi at our public housing communities, of which this community is one of the inaugural locations. It also means that our affiliate is working to make sure that an additional 1,500 units of affordable housing throughout this city will follow suit in the next year. So we're going to have over 3,000 folks funded through federal subsidy with free Wi-Fi. So not just our young scholars, but our secondary young scholars, our elders, stay connected for the basic right of being able to get online and know what's happening in the world, not just know about it, learn about it, but actually lead it. Because I have to tell you, if you want to know what an advocate looks like, you look at our hosts, our elders of Palo Vista, because they are advocates from the long road, and they meet monthly to make sure that they stay connected to fight for more funding like this. So again, shout out to our young elders of Palo Vista and our other communities. Thank you. Our new normal is a trip. And Dr. Trammell did an awesome job of laying out what we have to do to make sure that we make the crisis that we experience together, that we all still carry, the pedestal for doing more work. So I want to actually give another thank you to all of you who are in this room, because when we talk about the tapestry of what makes Oakland beautiful, what makes Oakland powerful, and how will we overcome the inequities in not just digital, but education, nutrition, health, safety, and environmental, it is because all of us will spend a hot afternoon on a Thursday to celebrate how far we've come and take the pledge to keep going further to see how far we will go. And so to that, I celebrate each of you. I talked a little bit about advocacy, and here today joining us is one of the members of the Board of Commissioners for the Oakland Housing Authority. Now, I met this fine gentleman over 26 years ago. I was 12, volunteering. And he has led a more remarkable number of community building programs through our resident advisory board and through partnerships with Clorox and others to make sure young people have a place to be engaged. He has a kind heart and recently took on my challenge to be an advocate as part of the National Commissioners Committee under the National Association of Housing Redevelopment Officials. So please join me in welcoming Commissioner Bill Mays. Sir?
Good afternoon. My name is William Mays, and since 2022, I've had the privilege of serving as a commissioner for the Oakland Housing Authority Board of Commissioners. In my role, it is my responsibility to represent the voices of the Oakland Housing Authority residents by supporting the creation of policy that truly benefits the community. As a commissioner, alongside the executive director, I advocate for positive change, and today, I am proud to highlight one such change, the free Wi-Fi incentive. The internet plays a vital role in keeping our community informed and connected to the world. Personally, I rely on internet access for everyday communication with family and friends, for conducting business, and for scheduling essential appointments, such as viral doctor visits. Beyond that, it provides invaluable access to news education, and training opportunities. In the 21st century, access to Wi-Fi is no longer a luxury. It is a necessity, especially for the residents of the Oakland Housing Authority. I am thrilled to announce that the Oakland Housing Authority free Wi-Fi incentive will begin high-speed wireless 10 gigabyte internet to 390 families in my own community of Peralta Village, as well as thousands of more residents across the authority's housing development. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Oakland Housing Authority and the broader community for their dedication and hard work in making this incentive a reality. I look forward to witnessing even more of our residents benefit from this increased internet access in the future. Thank you.
So we talked a little bit about young scholars, and what would this celebration be without one of the leaders of the community of young scholars who call Oakland Housing Authority home. And today I get an opportunity to introduce a dynamic ninth grader who actually is continuing a legacy of volunteering and serving with the Housing Authority in his father's footsteps. Please help me in welcoming our ninth grade speaker for today and valiant representative of the Oakland Housing Authority community of young scholars, Mr. James Lee.
Good afternoon. My name is James Lee. I am in the ninth grade. I am 14 years old, and the school that I attend to is Oakland Unity High School. And I live in Lockwood Gardens, which is Oakland Housing Authority. Now, with the internet, I could either play games with my friends, I could study and do homework. But without it, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm grateful that we have internet now. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, James. He told me science is his jam, so I guess he was very succinct on showing us how to elect it. Thank you, sir. And now, we have many, many champions, and I'm proud to introduce to you a longtime champion of affordable housing and someone who has a lived experience with understanding the importance of affordability. Sworn in as the 51st mayor of this great dynamic city of Oakland. Got to say it right, y'all. She has led us on her vision with an agenda focused on community safety, homelessness and affordable housing, economic opportunity, and hearing the voices of all. She is here today to support equity in the areas of Wi-Fi and, of course, equity in the areas of affordable housing. Please join me in welcoming our Mayor Tao to the speaker.
Oh my goodness. Can we give a round of applause to Miss Wells? Oh my goodness. She is definitely someone that I look up to, and one day I'll grow up and I'll be just like just like Miss Wells. But with that being said, I do want to acknowledge first and foremost Mayor Libby Schaff. It was Mayor Libby Schaff and David Silver who really came together, worked with the superintendent, worked with Patrick, and really lifted up, Oakland Undivided. So let's give her and her whole team a round of applause. And what I can say that when I was on the city council, I was a strong supporter of Oakland Undivided, understanding the real facts of what it means when our young people and our seniors, two of the most vulnerable population that we must care for and that we want to care for, that they did not have access to the internet, and we're in the 21st century. And so this is a complete game changer when we talk about how do we get more people civically engaged. The only way to get to that is to make sure that government is inside of their homes in the sense of through their computer screens, right? So you can watch city council meeting, you can watch commission meetings. The same thing with our young people, right? Not only do they need access to the internet for their homework, for playing video games. Yes, we heard you, Mr. Lee. But also to be able to engage in the really important conversations that we have today. And so not just in the city of Oakland, but across the world.
And with that, this also, even with the pandemic, really making it very clear to us that there is a staunch difference between those who have and those that don't have. But we have come together once again, as others have stated, the city has come together to say, you know what, we are stronger together. And if we all are connected, that is only going to make us stronger. So I want to give Oaklanders a round of applause. Your hands will be red by the time you walk out. But I also want to acknowledge that we are really thrilled to have the California Public Utilities Commission vote unanimously to fund $15 million of broadband infrastructure project here in the city of Oakland. Yeah. So let me be very clear. Out of 484 applications submitted for this specific grant, Oakland was one of the first 5 awardees to receive this grant. So whoever wrote the grants, you're doing a great job. Let's give a round of applause to you. And of course, I'm so grateful to continue to work with state leaders in this room. You see the Assembly Member Mia Vanta. I want to be very clear, before she was even an Assembly member, working with young people, that's her jam. That's what her heart is at, and so this is one of the reasons that I felt why I knew that she would be a strong assembly member representing the city of Oakland, because she cares so much about our kids, our seniors, and those who are living on the margin. Let's give Assembly Member Mia Bonta. And of course, there's so many people that we can thank, but I also have to lift up my own team. At City Hall, we have some of the best employees. The talent is unmatched. And we do have them, because of our budget deficits, we do have them working 3 to 4 different jobs. And we see that. But at the end of the day, they choose to stay with us in the city of Oakland because this is hard work. It is hard work, but it is also, first and foremost, hard work. And this is why they choose to stay with the city, choose to be impactful for our communities, so that we could be the game changer for not only Oakland, but for California, and then for the rest of the nation. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving me a round of applause as I introduce the city's own information officer, who has also been super helpful in the brainchild behind the connectivity aspect of it in the city, Mr. Tony Batala.
Thank you, Mayor. So I am Tony Batala. I'm the IT Director for the City of Oakland, and it was my department that was the lead applicant on the grant proposal that the Mayor just mentioned. And I would like to thank Mayor Shang Tao and City Administrator Justin Johnson and the City Council for their continued support of my department and in our work towards driving digital equity. But I also want to give, before I get into this, a special thank you. David, you're second for that, because I know you were instrumental, and we're working on the shoulders of those who built this before. But I want to give a special shout out to Patrick Messick. In my experience with Patrick, he's been the beating heart of digital equity in the city of Oakland, a tireless champion, indefatigable. You can't fatigue him. He cannot be fatigued. That's Patrick Messick, and it's just been an honor to work with you, and this is really the culmination of so much work, but it's also just the start, because there's so much more ahead of us and so much more good work to do. So thank you, Patrick, for everything you've done to bring us to this point. So our grant application was, as Mayor Shang Tao mentioned, it was a CPUC grant. They call it a last mile grant. That's the part where you got to get from the street to the house, the last mile, and connect into the larger middle mile. There was $25 million allocated for Alameda County. We applied for that for $15 million for the city of Oakland. That was oversubscribed. There was over $100 million that was applied for that part in Alameda County. And yet, our project was recognized and awarded, as the mayor mentioned in the very beginning, the top first round. And I think that speaks to not just the power or the impact of the project, but all the work that's gone before it that we're talking about and celebrating here, that this didn't happen overnight. This really is building and working together in partnership with so many different people and organizations coming together for a cause. So the project quickly is, it would connect 27 Oakland Housing Authority properties, over 2,500 units to high-speed fiber, and it would basically hand off the fiber to OHA, and they would provide the service, as you can see that they're already doing. And I think that's a tremendous illustration of that kind of partnership where you have the municipal government doing the infrastructure and then the partners doing the service. And so together that creates this, shows how a partnership can work between infrastructure and service delivery to really provide free gigabit high-speed internet to thousands of Oaklanders. And once again, I'm really excited about this and really honored to work here. And now I want to introduce someone from my team who helped with this grant application, Louisa Kalampong, who is the city's broadband manager. Thank you, Louisa.
Thank you, Tony. I do have some talking points that OU provided me, but I'm just going to wing it because I don't, I only got 2 minutes anyway. So, hello, my name is Louisa Kalampong. I am the city broadband manager for the city of Oakland. And I got to tell you, I haven't been with the city long. I've only been here about a year, and I am so honored to be the broadband manager for Oakland. Oakland is a really inspiring city. I don't know if it's a history of civic engagement around here, but everybody is engaged in anything to do with Oakland's well-being, residential well-being, equality, equity. I mean, we're all in it. There isn't anybody on the street that does not care what's going to happen to Oakland's future. So I am more than honored. And you might be wondering, what is a broadband manager? We weren't sure either, but I'm just kidding. So broadband is really about accessibility, reliability, and affordability. So without those three things, you don't really have digital equity. And digital equity is one of those, it's really not a unique issue for cities across the nation. And this award is actually a unique award to go to an urban environment like Oakland. So I just want to stress that there is not another award like this anywhere around the country, because it's all been about rural digital equity, urban infrastructure, infrastructure divide when it comes to rural. But when it comes to urban, we've been left out for as long as they've been talking about the digital divide. So I just want to underscore how important this award is to the city of Oakland, to the nation, because we're setting a precedent here. So I just wanted to make sure that, I told you all that. So I do need to introduce, you know what, actually, let me just say that Oakland Undivided has been fighting this fight within Oakland for digital equity for much longer than I even knew. So when I came in, I'm like, wow, these folks are so organized. They know what's going on. They've been at it for 4 years. They've been at every meeting. They make sure that our state and our county leaders are here to talk to us. They bring everybody to the table. And without them, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be celebrating this win. So I just want to, I know we're going to clap again, but if we could clap again for them, I think it'd be pretty awesome. So I think I'm supposed to introduce the state partners, and I'm so sorry that, I'm just not ready. Okay, so I'd like to introduce Assemblymember Mia Bonta for upending the status quo with her bold and visionary leadership and unapologetically Oakland and connected experience of residents too often overlooked. And also, and I'm so sorry, I wanted to talk a little bit about the middle mile investment from the state. Other states are doing middle mile. California is such a massive state and they are so brave to take this on, because we're talking a lot of land and a lot of miles. So kudos to them for even taking that project on. And without that middle mile investment, I don't think our project could even make it, because we have so many different things that have to go into this network to make sure that it's successful. So tapping into that middle mile for us and continuing the investment for Oakland to make sure that this project goes off without a hitch is so important. So I do want to just kind of talk a little bit about that and also clap for that as well. So thank you so much for for the continued, partnership with us here at the city, and then, just continuing to give us updates and keeping us informed and making sure that Oakland is a priority. So with that, I think it's, yep, Assembly Member. Yeah, thank you.
Our very own Assemblymember Mia Bonta is on a tight timeline, but we simply would not be here without her. She is one of Oakland's greatest champions. She advocates for us in every space, and we have to hear from her before she has to step out. So can we please put our hands together for Assemblymember Mia Bonta?
Thank you so much. It is always my honor to be able to walk the green carpet in the Capitol and say that I represent the beautiful people of Oakland, Alameda, and Emeryville, the town. And I'm happy to be joining you today and seeing so many familiar faces and just be able to mark this milestone of 4 years later and what we were able to accomplish. And I'm seeing my rock star and my hero right here, Ms. Wells, who is part of making sure that we have an opportunity to be hosted here in Palo Vista Gardens, this beautiful space. The legislature has been able to make historical investments in broadband and in connectivity in this state in partnership with the Biden-Harris administration and the California Department of Technology to ensure our investments are equitably distributed and no household is left disconnected. And I want to thank and appreciate our local leaders, our community-based organizations for their fierce, and when I say fierce, I mean fierce, advocacy and persistence in always being focused on the end user experience. Because low speeds and a lack of affordable broadband are not something that we are tolerating here in the city of Oakland. And it is because of the incredible advocacy that we get to recognize that although the current reality in California is that too many people, particularly in urban centers, and people who are predominantly low-income residents and people of color are disproportionately disconnected and underserved, that we have an opportunity. Given the increasing reliance on digital technologies for our basic health, our wellness, our basic needs, our civic engagement, education, work, and our healthcare system, we must ensure that digital inequities do not persist. And this is meant to be work that is historic. We had a once-in-a-lifetime investment by the federal government in making sure that connectivity would be something that we all experienced. And I want to thank the state of California, the CPUC, the Department of Technology, the governor's administration, and our budget subcommittees and our budget committees, both throughout the legislature, for being able to be engaged, for listening, for accepting and being humble enough to hear the feedback from our community and to say when it was time that we needed to be able to course correct. It is this beautiful moment of having community advocates like Ms. Jahara. Like our city officials, like the mayor, our mayor Libby Schaff, and of course our current mayor, Mayor Sheng Tao, our city council members, our housing agency, public housing agency, coming together and being able to present enough of a full picture around where there was need that we were able to understand and recognize that, and then to have our state agencies say, all right, we need to step into that space. Now, I have to say that we had courageous conversations. They weren't easy. There were tears. There was a little anger. There was certainly consternation. But at the heart of that was love. Love for the city. Love for the concept of justice and equity. And a recognition that connectivity in this day and age is a civil right. So what do we get? Right now, we're experiencing a milestone for the fruits of our collective efforts. Oakland's $15 million federal funding last mile grant by the CPUC. We're going to hear about that a little bit more in depth, and we've talked about that. The Housing Authority's $2.5 million free Wi-Fi initiative for about, starting with 1,000 residents, but moving on to 2,500 residents, right? Oakland Undivided's and the Oakland Ed Fund's investment in a $1 million student connectivity fund to continue supporting our OUSD students and families, and the internet superhighways through the Oakland's participation with the California Department of Technology in this middle mile broadband initiative. That is a milestone that no other legislator, nobody in the state of California can say that they've bested. We have done it here in Oakland because of you all. Showing once again that when the town wants, the town gets. So I want to thank you all for your incredible commitment and partnership, and for your incredible love of this city. Now, I use the term milestone very deliberately because we have more fight in us, because there's still more need in us. We need to make sure that the internet and our connectivity is affordable for every person in the state of California. I'll take starting here in my district in AD 18. We need to make sure that because internet is a civil right, that we are not discriminated against because of our ethnic background, because of our income status, because of our race, because of where we live. I had that fight. We had that fight together, and we will continue that fight. So you all need to know that you always have a fighter with love representing you in the state of California, and particularly around this issue around internet connectivity. You have the best team here holding up Oakland's, and I say this is true, around internet connectivity and digital equity. Where Oakland goes, so goes the state of California, and where California goes, so goes the nation. So let's keep up the fight.
Wonderful. Thank you, Assemblymember Bonta. And next, we just want to underscore what Assemblymember Bonta stated, that we have great investment from the state and the state agencies, such as California Department of Technology, represented here by Deputy Director Mark Monroe, and the California Public Utilities Commission, represented here by Commissioner Hauk and also President Reynolds. I now invite Commissioner Hauk to the stage for an introduction of President Reynolds.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me? Yes. I am so pleased to be here today to celebrate with all of you the Oakland Connect project. I know it's been a long and sometimes bumpy road in getting here, and I have had the pleasure and the honor of coming to Oakland and meeting with many of the folks that we've heard from today and seeing firsthand some of the challenges that the community's had with connectivity. And I just think that all of you should really give yourselves a round of applause, because the Oakland Connect project is proof that we are eliminating the digital divide, and we're doing it with equity top of mind. And I look forward to coming back for more celebrations to see how we implement digital equity programs and eliminate the digital divide here in Oakland as one of the national leaders in this effort. And with that, I want to introduce someone that was really instrumental and critical in getting us here today. President Reynolds is not only the leader for the Public Utilities Commission, but she was also the lead commissioner for the proceeding that led to the grant that is funding this project. And as her Bagley Keene partner, I saw firsthand the time, effort, and thought that she put into this, long nights, sometimes late phone calls, going through and really thinking carefully about how we are going to do this and how we were going to do it and reach all communities in the state. and her partnership with the governor's office on everything related to SB 156. She has been a strong advocate, and broadband connectivity is a top priority for her. And so it's my honor to be able to introduce her here this afternoon. And with that, President Reynolds.
Good afternoon. It's really great to be here. And I did want to start by also recognizing Commissioner Hauk, back at her for her passion and leadership on digital divide issues, as well as the other members of the commission. You heard earlier, unanimous vote to approve this project. So all 5 commissioners, very passionate about what you're doing here in Oakland. I come here really with a lot of gratitude and humility. I am so grateful to be welcomed into your community and to be included here in this celebration. We have members of our staff here in the audience, and of course Commissioner Hauk and myself, and I think that this is what, we play a small part in this. You all made it real, and we're so happy to be here to see it and to celebrate with you. So thank you for that. And also, a huge thank you, Assemblymember Banta, hard act to follow. She is so wonderful and has worked so hard on these issues, as well as the mayor, Ching Tao, the City of Oakland, Oakland Housing Authority, Tech Exchange, and of course, Oakland Undivided, all of our community partners and all of the individuals who are here today. Thank you so much for hosting us. I did want to talk a little bit, staying away from bureaucratic jargon, because we're here to celebrate, but I wanted to talk about 2 of our programs, which really form the basis for some of the work that you all have been leading here today. So together with the California Department of Technology, the PUC is working with communities up and down the state to develop local, homegrown solutions to the digital divide. So since we're here in Oakland, the 2 programs that are relevant, you've heard a little bit about them already, the Local Agency Technical Assistance, or LATA program, and the Federal Funding Account, or FFA program. So for the first one, recognizing that the government does play an essential role in expanding access, and that role really differs from community to community. In 2022, the CPUC began issuing total $50 million of technical assistance grants to local governmental agencies and tribes to develop community-specific plans to expand internet access. Across the state, the LATA program awarded grants to 101 local governments in 56 counties, providing resources to complete pre-construction planning, environmental studies, and network designs. Of course, one of those grants went right here to the City of Oakland, a $500,000 grant to develop a plan to deliver high-speed connectivity to areas that need it most. So realizing that that's only the first step. A plan isn't real until you implement it, right? So you all kept working. And that's where the FFA Last Mile program comes in. The FFA grant program provides total $1 billion for urban communities and $1 billion for rural communities for projects that deliver high-speed broadband internet to unserved and underserved households, businesses, and community anchor institutions. So this summer at the CPUC, as you heard, we voted unanimously to fund Oakland Connect FFA Last Mile Grant, making the beginning of making the City of Oakland's plan a reality. So Oakland, in doing this, is, as you've heard throughout the day today, a true proof point in the state's approach to empowering local communities to implement solutions that they've developed from those communities. And I wanted to specifically thank all of you who engaged in our process at the state, writing letters, attending meetings, participating in our proceedings. It's rooms like this throughout the state where change happens. So I really wanted to express my appreciation for that. Before I end, I wanted to add one additional special thank you. Governor Newsom does send his heartfelt congratulations. He's aware of what you're doing here in Oakland. He supports it. He wishes he could be here. And I can tell you personally that this is exactly what he had in mind
when he started working on the Broadband for All effort, as you heard from the Assembly member, working together with the legislature on what became SB 156 and then what later became the reason we're here today, part of it, of course. Yeah. So. All right, with that, I just wanted to say thank you so much. Again, so much gratitude to be here. You guys should all be congratulating yourselves for doing all of this work. It's really great to see all of you and to be a part of it. Thank you.
Y'all, we did it. We did it. And so much work still to come. If you are able to stay around, well, first, no one's getting out of here without taking a big group photo, so just get yourself emotionally prepared for that. And then secondly, if you are able to hang around, starting at 5, the residents from Palo Vista will be joining us from an informational session where they're gonna be learning more about the free deployment of Wi-Fi here in this community. We're gonna have some burritos, we're gonna have some frozen treats. So if you wanna hear from our incredible residents here, you're welcome to stay around. That'll be from 5 to 5:30, and we're so grateful for you all for being here today. In closing, we are gonna give ourselves a huge round of applause for making it through this incredible heat. And then you're gonna like put down your bags, whatever you need to do, and you're gonna come on up here to take one last group photo. Come on up, y'all.